And then when we had to close to refurb, the electrician said, you guys aren't going to be able to operate. And we just reopened, build on it, and you're like, wow, I'd done that. What's possible? But to get up and running, you've got to have that confidence and believe in yourself and not listen to people's opinions too much. Surround yourself with good people.
Hello, my name's Nicole and welcome to The Big Chat. And I'm very excited to be bringing two very special people to you today. My good friends, Matt and James, who you may well know for their wonderful coffee shops in Tunbridge Wells, Fine Grind. Hello, Matt and James.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah,
good.
Well.
It's a bit chilly in here today. We're a little bit chilly. We're a little bit chilly in the studio. You look very toasty there. You look pretty warm.
I came prepared.
Tell everyone that doesn't know. Listen, anyone that doesn't know out there, Fine Grind coffee is, without a shadow of a doubt, my favourite coffee, personally. I do enjoy a flat white with oats, as made perfectly by the guys at Fine Grind. But tell everyone a bit about, your businesses in Tunbridge Wells, for starters. James, Matt, hit the floor. Either one of you want to say.
Thanks, Nicole. It's great to be here, by the way. Thanks for having us on.
You're very welcome.
It's really, really cool to be here. I love what you've done.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Fine Grind, we're all about coffee. All about coffee and community. And we've been doing it for 7 years now.
God, 7 years.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Is that when you first set up? Literally 7 years ago?
7 years in February.
Wow. And the first shop was?
In the high street.
In the high street. So,
Opposite Pizza Express.
And so your background, look, for anyone that doesn't realise or know, these guys are brothers. We are not breaking any rules here today. They are allowed to sit as close as they like to one another. They are family, they're in their bubbles, but they also work together. Yeah. How did this come about, you guys setting up? Let's start at the very beginning. Sort of whose idea was it? What were you guys doing? James, tell me what you were doing. Was this one of Matt's? I know what Matt's like, being a good friend of mine. Did he come to you? Did you go to him? How did it all begin?
Matt's always wanted his own business.
Yeah.
And he was obviously he was at Cafe Nero. He was the manager there for 5 years.
No, it's a little bit less than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was an estate agent up in London.
Were you?
Yeah, for 19 years.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
Fair amount of time. And we always, both of us actually wanted to have our own business one day.
Yeah.
And we travelled the world together. And we spoke about it a lot, didn't we? We spoke about having our own business, and we made lots of plans.
Yeah.
Whilst we were travelling, and it's actually quite a funny story how it all came about, isn't it? How the actual decision was made, finally to go for it. But there was a lot of planning, and I think Matt, you were the one that actually made the decision. Right, let's end our travels and let's finally do it.
Yeah, we'd been travelling for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we detached from the standard societal model.
Yeah.
And decided that, we'd been away for a few years. And we were like, okay, so we're running out of money. We'd made some good money through some property.
How many years? Wait a minute. How many, would you say years? A few years. How many years were you travelling?
Well, there was solid travel.
Yeah.
2 years.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But on and off quite a bit more than that.
Yeah.
But we'd made some money through property investment.
Yeah.
Through what James had found some properties, and we'd made some good money.
Brilliant.
And we went away when the crash happened in 2008.
Yeah.
We just travelled and didn't work.
Yeah.
And when we came back, we were starting to get low on money, so we're going to have to come back and we're going to have to do something.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get into a job, or we're going to have to start our own business. And as James said, ever since I was young, I've always wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And we just decided we're in India.
Yeah.
And we're in the swimming pool, and we were like, we need to do something. This is 2 years in. Yeah. And we were again a little bit bored. We wanted a challenge. And I said, look, let's go to New Zealand. Let's talk to Dad, make a business plan, and we'll go back. Because we didn't want to go back and get into jobs.
Mm.
We'd
already done that a few times.
Yeah, and we weren't happy with that.
Yeah.
And we wanted to just start our own thing. And we both had a background in hospitality, loved customer service, and we wanted to work together ultimately. So, yeah, the idea for a coffee shop was born.
That's amazing.
And yeah, fast forward, 3 years after that, we it started.
So with it, I mean, that's phenomenal. And I mean, that's what this is all about, is talking to people that are entrepreneurial and business, you know, it's because I love starting businesses, as everyone knows, and it's scary, it's daunting, isn't it, if you've not done that before? And when you've worked for someone else for a long time, you can get great insight into how businesses are run, but you can also get, you know, not so great. So what was it about working on your own that you really wanted to do? Was it working together fundamentally, or what was the real sort of driving force behind doing your own thing?
Well, I mean, funnily enough, we'd both been in lots of different jobs, and it just, I don't know, there was something about working for other people that we didn't, I mean, we both feel the same way, so I can speak for James and I, we didn't feel in total control of our lives. You know, trading time for money, really. We wanted to build our own thing and be our own bosses. So the driving force really behind it was being in control of our own destiny, and like being an employee of some good and some really not good companies. We wanted to create an environment where people could wear what they wanted to work. They weren't just a number. They could bring their own ideas and be themselves. And it was really, really key for us to be able to create that environment. So it was just as much about the people as it was about us as well, you know, and making money, just creating value for the community and people. So there was a broader vision, really, but creating our own destiny was really the fundamental driver behind it, wasn't it? We wanted to work for ourselves.
And that's so cool because, like you say, creating an environment where not just you, but the people that work with you can be themselves. When we're talking 7 or 8 years ago, I mean, okay, that doesn't feel like, well, it feels like a long time ago, and then it doesn't feel like a long time ago. But actually, you know, we were talking to one of our guests, Hugh, who's a street artist, and we were talking about how, you know, it was still sort of frowned on a bit. Now it's like really cool. You know, you can have stuff like this and be really expressive, and it's much more. But even 7 years ago, actually, there was still a sort of regimented.
Absolutely.
You know, I remember working in the city, and if you didn't wear a suit, then that was. Whereas now, if you wear a suit, it means something different in the city. You know, the more senior staff actually don't wear suits, so it's really sort of flipped around. So that was quite up and coming, I'd say, for you guys to do that. Coffee, where did the love of coffee from? Did you just think, let's just do a coffee shop because we love coffee?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm answering all the questions.
You can answer everything. James is just there. It's fine.
Every single morning, James and I used to get up and we used to go to this place in Thailand called, what was it called, bro? It was called Norma's. Was it Norma's? I think it was Norma's.
It was Norma's.
It was on the beach, and we used to meet up every morning on our bikes, and we'd go down there and we'd have coffee.
Yeah, they used to do some decent coffee. Yeah.
They did, and it's
when
not
you're
easy
drinking
to
instant
find.
coffee. We used to drink instant coffee.
I can't drink instant coffee after meeting you two. You know that.
But we used to drink instant coffee, and we used to go to Norma's, and their coffee was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you were like, no more instant.
Do you know?
No more after Norma's. No more.
James really was the one who was the stickler about the coffee.
Yeah.
I always liked coffee, but he was the one like it's non-negotiable. It has to be good, strong, nice, flavoursome coffee. Yeah. Whereas I was a little bit more relaxed about it. But every single morning, and it was like, that's really where it started. We've always loved our coffee. And being in New Zealand, my dad lives in New Zealand, and he has since we were 14.
Yeah.
And going over there, it's huge over there. So the cafe culture, we've sort of been in that since we were in our early teens. But yeah, every morning in Thailand.
And what an amazing place to start. Literally, like, you're sitting out, and then you're like, yeah, we could do this.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and then from there on in. And you said, and you're a good team. I mean, obviously, I've known you guys a while now, and we helped create your magnificent website.
Absolutely did.
And but you know, also with you guys, you are a really good team because you are very different. You're very close, but you are very different, and you do bring different energies to the party, which is what's needed. I mean,
definitely.
You know, and you've how's that been working together as brothers? I mean, it's phenomenal.
Challenging at times.
Yeah.
No,
is that just Matt, or is that just working as brothers?
To be fair, we've always got on really well.
Yeah.
We've always been really close. So we knew that it would work. We knew we would work working together. It's always been.
That's the attitude, though, isn't it? If you want it to work, you just decide. You make the decision.
James and I can have a big bust up, a big gorillas having a fight behind the scenes, and then 5 minutes later, it's like all forgotten about, you know.
That's how it should be.
So
definitely.
yeah.
So when you set up 7 years ago, I mean, I remember, you know, obviously I remember, but I was always up the other end of town, the top end of town, whereas you were down the bottom end of town. Did you find that people were very supportive? Because you seem to get quite a following very quickly from, you know, that community aspect. Certainly one of my team, she was constantly in there. I think she had ran up quite a coffee. Anna was just constantly in there. But I mean, you know, did you find that you got a lot of support from that end of the town? Because it was busy, yeah? I mean, we're different times now, but 7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, now we know a lot of people. We know a lot of our regulars, like we're friends with a lot of our regulars. And I know that they walk, and they have done since the beginning, have walked from far and wide to come and grab a coffee. And in the first 8 months, that was when it was toughest, and it was about staying the course, believing in our vision, and being ourselves, and confident in the fact that we could build that community, because that's what's made the shop. It really has. Being somewhere where people want to go and have their name called out and know their drink, you know, and hi, how you doing? You know, that friendly face. Yeah. Feeling part of the shop. And then we created this destination. And that just continues. But
it took a bit of time to get there.
It did take a little bit of time
to get there.
But even the design and everything, it's, you know, I love the design, I love the interior and everything. I know you've had a bit of a revamp recently, but it's got its identity. It's really cool. It's very different.
It's changed quite a bit now.
It has changed a bit. I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, seriously, right? Certainly when I first started talking to you more regularly, it was right at the beginning of lockdown, which is just unbelievable. And you think, really, that's only a year. I mean, I certainly feel like I've known you guys a lot longer than a year, but a lot's happened in that year. Obviously, your business at the time, and what an impact. I mean, we didn't realise what the hub of a community you would become, right? But we can talk about that later. But how did you guys feel when this all started to kick off? I mean, I know personally, but
well, probably like a lot of people, there was a lot of, you know, when it first happened, we were thinking, how are we going to be able to sort of deal with this? How are we going to be able to diversify and sort of become a completely take away 100% business? So it was difficult, very difficult. But you know, we've been so lucky. We've been so lucky that people have continued to come and see us. And I just think initially, I was quite ill as well. So Matt was having to deal with everything.
Because you got coronavirus, didn't you?
I got quite ill, so I felt quite bad because I couldn't be involved.
I know, you're so selfish, James. How dare you get that virus and not be able to work?
I couldn't be involved, so everything was left to Matt to deal with, but he did an amazing job, and you know, we just had to try and go with the times, but it's been a challenge, hasn't it?
It has.
But you've powered on. I mean, you've powered on, and what has, you know, just watch what's happened, because again, not everyone's going to know what's happened. You know, you had your spot, you had your shop down in the high street, and that's always been your real base there. But suddenly, a few months into lockdown, and we're all sort of in the same boat, none of us know what's going on, where's money coming from? I know, Matt, you and I had personal conversation about worrying about our businesses. And then what happens? You decide to get another site. Tell us a bit about that.
So, I mean, that was born out of, I mean, we've done our festivals. We used to have a festival business, or events company that used to do events and festivals all around the country, really. We've travelled all over, and done some amazing stuff. And so we had our second business doing that. And obviously with COVID, we couldn't do that for obvious reasons. But I knew the guys at the Forum through doing Black Deer Festival and Local and Live with Paul Dunton and the guys there. And they always used to drink our coffee. And I knew Jason quite well. And I just approached them and said, look, guys, you know, you're not using the space at the moment. How would you feel about us using it?
It actually happened by mistake, though, didn't it? Because our shop was being refurbished. And the electrician said, you can't use the electricity for 4 days. And we'd just started making coffee again. So Matt said, well, let's approach the Forum.
Nothing happens by accident, does it? That's amazing.
And I didn't tell you this.
Okay. You didn't.
Live news.
Breaking news.
I didn't tell you this, but I'd actually contacted Jason before that happened.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me know.
It was something...
He was worried about you. You weren't very well.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I was thinking about leveraging our position. And as anybody who's got their own business or is entrepreneurial will understand that well, you've been through opening your business and you've been through the hard times. When you're faced with this, with challenges, you thinking, how am I going to...
Totally.
How am I going to get through this? How am I going to get through this? And it was constant. I remember the conversation that me and you had when this really happened. We had like a 2-hour conversation of, we're going to have to use this time to pivot.
Those 4 days.
It was some real tough. We got kids and exactly.
I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? That you sort of have a seed and then something like that, like you say, something like that happens and it's an intervention of sorts.
It was, absolutely.
You know.
And I looked at that and I was the actual forum and I thought to myself, that would be a perfect spot for people on walks and stuff like that. And then when we had to close the refurb, the electrician said, you guys aren't going to be able to operate. And we just reopened to do takeaway. And I'm like, Christ, you know, that's 5 days that we can't do anything. And it was it was going to hurt us. We'd taken people back off a furlough and it was like, oh man. So I just shot him an email and said, listen, dude, like, what's the situation? Do you fancy it? And he's like, yeah, it's all good. So that day, we just wheeled everything across the road on our coffee carts.
With the whole coffee cart, with the coffee machine on top.
Up the grass.
Stopping the traffic.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
Plugged it in, and the first day was quiet. And then, honestly, we were just humbled by
you were heaving because people needed it.
They did, yeah.
The people of Tunbridge Wells, I remember it was literally, I mean, to see people outside where they could actually go somewhere and communicate and I mean, that's when it really became, I feel like you were already that kind of nucleus in your area of the town, but then it was like, wow, okay, now everyone knows, because not everyone had that insight to do that, and not everyone had that relationship to do that with the guys. I know the guys get approached to do a lot of stuff, but they valued the way you work, the way you operate, your friendship. That's a big deal, and the community got to really benefit from that. I mean, thank you. Do you know what I mean? Because it was really awesome to be able to go somewhere and get a coffee and hang out at a time where that was really... Yeah, there wasn't much to be happy about, was there?
Totally. It was a lifeline for a lot of people, and people were bumping into others they hadn't seen for a long, long time on the common and having coffees and, you know, being able to bring people together and enjoy some time just to chat, you know, was a big thing. And it felt great to be able to help the forum as well, because they've been there for over 25 years and local music festivals, local music venues have not been able to do anything.
No.
And the forum's been there for ages. And, you know, being able to support those guys and create an environment where they're still in the spotlight and work with them, it's been really cool.
And you've been there since then.
We're still there.
You're still there.
Yeah, we're still there.
I mean, now it's the FG and the forum signs up. It's there, isn't it? So is that your regular place of residence now?
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing.
They won't use it. They don't use it really during the day at all. So we want to work with them to try and stay there. It works well.
Yeah, it does.
They like us there. We love being there. And the team as well. They love working there. I mean, it's been a bit cold over the winter, to be honest. It's been a bit cold.
I mean, I'm used to sitting in this freezing cold studio, so I'm like rhino hide skin now. when the shop was, I mean, obviously you were really surprised at how well it did, which was phenomenal, and it was great because everyone was really happy to see you guys doing well, and everyone was so happy to have somewhere to go. I mean, we had that stint in the summer, didn't it, when we come down and people were sat all over, and it was just cool. Great. It felt like a bit of normality for people, which is what we all needed. When your refurb was done on the shop, and I'm probably not getting the times exactly right here, were you nervous at all that you might have to just do one or the other? Like because that was quite a bold thing to have two, you know, in this current climate.
It created some challenges actually, because we weren't expecting it to be so busy, and it was. So we had to. We've got a friend of ours, a very good friend of ours, Sean. We had to ask him to help us out because he wasn't working at the time. We had to employ some new staff.
Yeah.
Which was good, because we were able to keep people in jobs. And
it's brilliant.
But then It was tough because you had the whole furlough thing, and you have to try and balance people being furloughed, not being able to be furloughed, employing new staff. So that's been quite a challenge.
And how have you found, I mean, because that's amazing that you've been able to take staff on at this time. I mean, being able to create, generate new opportunities for people is brilliant. But that's difficult as well, because then you're training new staff and you've got, and also all the restrictions. I mean, how's that been? Because obviously being in the hospitality sector during these times, I mean, I've obviously had to see you in, take your temperature. I mean, that's hard as well, isn't it? Masks, PPE, that's a whole new thing that you've got to do out there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's been tough, the whole mask thing, but it's one of those things where you just have to go with it, and it's been fine. If the staff, it's difficult when you're wearing a mask behind a coffee machine in the kitchen. It's been difficult, but it's been fine. We've managed.
I've seen Matt look a bit stressed out when he's cooking in the kitchen with his mask on. Steamy glasses. I mean, it is, but there is just practicalities to that, isn't there? Like you say, but it's adjusting. So literally you found that was it, both of them, because both sites are busy. I personally love it. I can go and have coffee at one, and then I can walk with one of my friends, and I think, I want another coffee. I go to the other one. So, but you've been really well supported, haven't you, on both? Yeah,
we have, and we actually. To just go that one step further, we were trying really quite hard to push into a third site. But with what happened in December, again, taking the situation one step further, it was really, really tough to make the call to hold back on opening a third site, because with what's happening on the high street, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
We decided to hold fire on that and abort what we were doing, but we were very, very close to getting the third site up and running.
Yeah.
At the top of town. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that just yet, but we do have some other stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you're always busy. I mean, you're always busy. You're doing goodness knows what exercise at the moment. I mean, I took a very drench-filled walk with you the other day, which we did round Dunallin, and Matt kept saying, "Are you sure that coat's waterproof?" And I was like, "I'm not so sure it is, actually." I was getting very wet on the walk, but you've been doing lots of stuff. And have you guys got plans at the moment? Are you busy? Can you talk about anything? Can you tell us anything?
We've got a couple of things that we're working on, but there's nothing.
Yeah, we can't
nothing concrete at the moment. It's
Are you always looking for new things?
All
is
the
that
time.
yeah?
All the time. Well, not just looking, but pushing.
Yeah.
We really are.
Yeah.
We got into business, I'm 45 and James is a couple of years younger than me. And we got kids, and we want to push on. Now more than ever, we're feeling stronger and with our experience, we've got quite a bit of experience and life experience behind us, and we feel like we're just getting started, seriously. And we've got loads of stuff we want to do, and we're pushing and pushing and pushing. So I honestly think that this has changed everything, and there are huge opportunities out there, and we're pushing hard. And you say about that I've been doing some exercise stuff. It's all part of the push.
Yeah, absolutely.
James is very quiet. He's totally unlike me. I'm on my social media. I love to talk about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
James is a very behind the scenes, quiet introvert. He doesn't really talk about
I like James's food posts though. I always have a bit of oh, that looks nice. You put something out the other day, I was like, can you make that please? That looks really nice. So he always gets me feeling like I want to eat, so that's good. Yeah, is that what it was? I'm always like, there's always me. You always know I'm watching, James, I tell you. So but with that, what would your advice be to, because there are people out there, I'm sure there are lots of people out there that really want to do something. They really want to do their own idea, and it is tough and it is scary, and it is that final push, isn't it? Because once you do it, I think once you create something and you see how it works, then it's easier to keep creating.
Totally.
Isn't it? It's like that first bit where you're like, I've got to give up.
100%.
It feels like there's so much to, especially if you're working and if you've got a family that, rely on you. But once you sort of push through that bit, then it's like opportunities become. So what would your advice be, guys, to people?
You hit the nail on the head. And it's difficult to see that when you've never done it before. If I was to give people any advice, I would say that you really need to not listen too much to other people's opinions and be around people, have friends and family that are going to support you and that are positive and want you to succeed, because it's getting into business for yourself, or even not in business, just in life in general, going for that new job or asking that girl out or boy out or whatever it might be. When you want to take yourself out your comfort zone, you've got to get away the clutter and stay the path.
Yeah, totally.
Once you've done it, like you said, you build on it and you're like, wow, I've done that, what's possible? But to get up and running, you've got to have that confidence and believe in yourself and not listen to people's opinions too much. Surround yourself with good people.
I think that is key as well, isn't it? I mean, that's where you guys, it's phenomenal that you have this relationship that you have as brothers.
I would never have been able to do it if it wasn't for him, because he was always the one I would phone, and I won't swear, but I was always the one to phone him and go nuts down the phone. And because you need good people around you. You need a mentor, you need someone who's got your back. Yeah. And with my brother, I know he's got my back like more than anyone.
Absolutely.
And you know, we bounce off of each other, so having someone, a friend or a mentor to be able to do it with and bounce ideas off that will support you is so big. I would literally not have done this if it wasn't for him.
I mean, it's amazing that you have that. I have a few friends that are in family businesses, and it is rare. It is, you know, that you can have this relationship that works so well, because it can be really tough with all siblings. I mean, me with my own siblings, I love them to pieces, but we can get competitive without realizing we're getting competitive. And you guys managed to just really make it work and really support each other. But I think, like you said there, Matt, it is important that you have good people around you, because especially times like this, it's been really tough for so many people, hasn't it? And if we've got enough negativity around us without surrounding yourself with more negativity. So I think that's great. I mean, I love your place. It is such a community. Community means a great deal to you guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You know, you're very passionate about people, I would say. You've both got stunning wives, gorgeous sons. Clearly they got mothers, you know, clearly they got that from the mums, no, surely. But you love your family. You've got a really close family, haven't you? And there's more of you, isn't there? There's actually more of you. How many brothers have you got?
We've got another two brothers, and a sister.
Yeah.
And they're great guys as well, you know. They all want to start their own thing one day. And it's nice that they've seen our journey.
Absolutely.
Our dad helped us get into business as well. He mentored us through the beginning stages. My dad's had various business throughout the years and has been pretty successful. And he really helped us at the beginning.
That's amazing.
And I'm sure he'll help them. But just us doing what we're doing, it shows them that it can be possible, and
of course,
so we're always here for them as well.
What would you say? I don't like saying what's your lowest point and what's your highest point. But if we did that, if we said start with the low, finish with the high, what would you say has been your lowest point in the business? Over, you know, a point that's been it doesn't have to be low, but like gritty, like toughest better than low.
Would be, like, initially I was just a silent partner, so I was working in London, and Matt would just phone me and give me updates on what was happening. And we got to a stage where we really got quite low on savings, and it got
low.
It got very real, and so we weren't sure whether it was going to work. So that was definitely the lowest, the lowest point.
Yeah, we got down to
we got through it.
That's interesting that it's the lowest point was literally the lowest point as well. Because that's the thing, isn't it? You've put a lot of your money into this business. Like, you've invested
every penny.
That's really,
both of us.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's a big deal.
We had no more money.
Yeah.
And we got down to £40 in our account. And that was at the beginning of the month. So it was, and that was in August, the first year. And if it hadn't have changed, we wouldn't be here now.
That's incredible to hear that, and it's really important for people to hear that, because I think sometimes people don't appreciate that you've really got to go to that point to really appreciate everything that comes afterwards.
You're backed into a corner. When you're backed into that corner, that's when you can really truly show what you're made of.
Absolutely.
It was either fold or go, nah, man. This, like, getting up every day, and I'm sure you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Getting up every day with the negativity or the naysayers in the back of your mind, and having to go to that shop every day, put a brave face on and say, I'm not going to get beaten. Like, I'm going to make this work. And we did. We did. But if it wasn't for the good people at Tunbridge Wells coming through those doors day after day, we'd have shut our doors.
Yeah.
So
that's major.
I like to think of it as a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
We provided a great environment and a nice friendly face and some great coffee, and they provided the footfall through the door.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So, that's incredible. And would you say that's your lowest point as well, Matt? What would you say?
I mean, my lowest point, I mean, that was tough on an actual business level, but and personal level, I don't mind talking about that. With my wife, we got separated and she had to go back for immigration reasons, and that was tough. And I had some issues with alcohol as well, which I'm happy to talk about, but I got quite low.
Well, you don't have them now.
I don't, no. And, which is another thing that I did want to say about, getting into the entrepreneurial space. Is that, and this is why the health and the fitness now is such a big thing for me, because if you're not right in your head, if you're not right in your body, it's really tough to be present and be at your full game.
1,000,000%.
So when you haven't got that discipline and that self-belief, it can crush you. And that was the most challenging time for me, was when James was working in London. I didn't have any friends or family around, because all my friends were the kind of guys that just like to get amongst it and go out and get drunk. So I was down here on my own, and my girlfriend at the time got not deported, but she went back to her
How long
country.
was she? How long was she away?
A year and a half.
Goodness me!
But I wasn't earning enough money.
Well, funny enough, because you talk about waiting for people to come through the door. He got to the stage where he wanted to make phone calls to different people to sort the problem out.
Yeah.
But he couldn't, because we were so busy. We got ourselves into a position where the shop was really, really busy, and he didn't have 2 minutes to sit down and make a phone call. So, on a positive note, it was.
That was tough.
Is that when you decided to stop the drinking? Was that it? When it was
No, I was drinking quite a bit.
Yeah.
But when Jenny finally got back, that's when things started to change. And then I had my boy, and when my wife got pregnant, that's when I realised that I really needed to face a few of my own demons, and start presenting myself as my best self, rather than just showing up every day and going through the motions.
Yeah.
But when Bodhi was born, so 3.5 years ago.
That's amazing.
I completely gave up drinking, changed my diet completely, because I had some health issues, heart issues, cholesterol issues. And I knew that was as I was getting older, was just going to compound, and that would end up affecting the business.
Yeah. And you've been, a great friend to me on my sort of, relationship with alcohol, because I think for a lot of people, certainly for me, it was stress. I would just drink to forget about the stress with business or stress with families or whatever it was. And even if you're not sort of like an alcoholic, when you don't have a good relationship with alcohol. Like, if you feel rubbish the next day about something, the chances are it's not good for you. Yeah. And it just actually, speaking to you about it, Matt, as you know, it's been amazing for me, because for me, I could not be as productive as I am. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It just that my old life wasn't serving me, and it wasn't making me feel great. And I think that is the thing, is that you can do these things, and they can be. Not everyone needs to. I mean, a lot of my friends now, they're like, "Oh, do you mind if I have a drink?" And I'm like, "I don't care if you have a drink." But for me, I'm just so much happier now. I'm not drinking. It's just a much happier place to be. And I think actually you really get stuff done.
Well, this
for me.
I 100%, and even in your mind, you get that stuff done.
Absolutely.
You're running a cleaner vessel, but it's difficult. It's like you can almost relate it back to what you said about the entrepreneurial journey and starting your own business. Is one, you can't really understand it if you haven't been on that journey. No. So it's not for everybody, but it's definitely served me well.
And you're very clean with eating as well. You're both vegan.
We're plant.
That was a bit of a.
I wouldn't say completely vegan, but yeah.
But menus predominant. I mean, you've got a whole mix on your menus. But you love cooking vegan. I know you love vegan food, don't you?
We both eat a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
We struggle with the term vegan.
Okay.
For several reasons.
Tell me about that. Because I could see that. I could see that little.
Yeah. So
she just say that.
You know me. You know I struggle with labels anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
We don't like to call ourselves vegan, or we both feel like that, but just because I mean we serve bacon and we've got nothing against that. It's a conscious choice to continue doing that. Yeah. Because it's not for everybody. Yeah. You know? So we don't like to say the word vegan just simply because we couldn't call ourselves vegan if we're serving bacon in our.
I think that's really cool. You know, because that's right, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
we believe if you want to label it and call it true vegans, then it's you can't really. It's a bit of a contradiction. So I don't really like calling myself vegan, but we do eat plant-based diets. Yeah. And James has been on his own personal health journey with that as well. But again, it's all you're getting older and just being conscious of. Yeah. Of what you're doing. I
just can't eat a lot of meat anymore, I'm afraid. I really actually can't. I mean, I'm 45, I'm 46 this year, and I just literally, my body's just changed. It's scary, but it's changing. And I just can't digest food the way I used to. And I don't know whether it's also because I've stopped alcohol and I've do more exercise. I don't know what it is, but it literally changes.
That's how I started. That's what started my journey.
I had some red meat at the weekend, and I honestly had some real trouble sort of digesting it.
I used to make fun of Matt, but now
you make fun of Matt.
Told me that, I know. So it was all to do with like cholesterol and allergies and stuff like that.
That's it, isn't it? There's a lot to do that. Yeah. So I mean, if people want to know a bit about nutrition, you're quite well versed, both of you.
You for sure.
That, and you love cooking, don't you? Because you're very good cooks.
Yeah, no, we are.
So that's I always find like I know you're very humble, both of you. You play that down a bit as well. Because I mean, what was that I had with my friend when she was over from the States? Was it a Buddha? Oh my God, that was like amazing. I was dreaming about that. I mean, I'm still getting over the fact you didn't bring me coffee today, but you could. Can't we just have more of them? Can we? I mean, what food are you doing now? People can click and collect, can't they, when they come to you? Can they?
Yeah, they can, 100%. Yeah, and we're working on broadening that as well, but the food is a funny one. We struggle to keep up with demand, so we made it quite complicated, so that what you had was quite a complicated dish to make.
Yeah, it did look complicated. It looked very colourful.
I mean, it's lovely and everything, but it's a tough one to be able to do at speed. And we're so busy. Space. It has to be quick. So we stopped doing complicated food because otherwise it stresses.
People like me will want it all the time.
Yeah, it stresses the team out, and it can be difficult.
So we're going to get an announcement today. I mean, this might not necessarily go live the same day as today, but today being the day that Boris is going to make an announcement, we're going to find out. What are you guys hoping is going to be the news? What are your gut feels? What do you think is going to be coming up? I mean, I know none of us will know till later, but
we'd love to be able to open our doors again and have people sitting in the cafe. Yeah, that's what we're all about, really. Yeah, having people sitting down and chatting to people, and seeing sort of familiar faces. That's what we want to do. Yeah, at the moment it's a bit of an unusual one because people come in, they get their coffee, and then they have to go pretty quickly, and you don't have that sort of chance to
have a chat,
sit and have a chat like you used to be able to. So we hope that we can get back to that as soon as possible, really, don't we?
Yeah, that's what ideally.
And if there's festivals and things, outdoor events, are you guys going to try and do any of those if you can? Is that something that's on the map?
We were talking about this ongoing. I don't think that we'll be doing them. We'd love to, but we actually really like what we're building currently. And we're using all the equipment, all the business stuff that we used for the festivals is now being used at the forum. Yeah. And we want to put a little bit more foundation into the forum and what we're doing there. But with everything that's going on, I just never would have envisaged when we were told that it was going to be a 6-week lockdown, and then nearly a year on now, what's happened. There's something inside of me that my intuition and my gut says that festivals and large events aren't going to be what they used to be, and they're hard work.
They are hard work, absolutely.
So for that to happen, it's going to be a tough one. And
you're going to do more stuff at the Forum.
Yeah,
you're going to do lots more stuff at the Forum, and I'm excited because we're going to be able to do some stuff at the Forum with you, aren't we? Yeah. We're very excited about the fact that we're going to be able to actually do some live, well, as soon as we can go back in there, basically, we'll get some kind of members stuff happening, and
it's going to be cool.
Collaborate with you guys a bit, because you're going to be doing more events there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're looking at some ideas, and one of those is with yourself.
One of those with the big chat. So that's like hot off the press, but
that'd be cool.
I would love to do something with you guys, and we've obviously got some magical ideas about it that we can't tell anyone, but it would be great to have something and make that more of a community hub like you guys have, and just expand on that, because that's what I'm all about as well, as obviously, as you know. What will be the things that you're really excited about coming out of lockdown for you guys in particular? Like what have you missed the most? James, what have you missed the most?
What have I missed the most?
Yeah,
I think as I said, just really being able to, sit down and have a chat with customers like we used to, just that sort of normality of being able to sit and have a coffee with someone. That's what I've missed really more than anything. Not
seeing people like me hanging out.
Was that business wise?
What in your personal, what has been your personal?
Again, I mean, myself and Kathy, we like to go out there and eat in restaurants and go on holiday and do all the things that, Exactly, yeah. So I'd love to be able to. Kathy, obviously our family live in the Philippines, so we like to go back there as often as we can.
Lovely.
And it would have been over a year since we've been now, so it'd be great to get back and see the family and spend a month there or so. That would be lovely.
And what about you, Matt?
I would love to be able to. My mum's, bless her. Love my mum. She's had it tough.
Yeah.
She lives on her own, and she's had it really tough. So I can't wait to be in a position where I could take her away.
Yeah.
And she's confident enough, because she's got really nervous about being around people, where we can just go away.
Yeah.
And she's getting older, and being a dad now, and older myself, I can kind of see that, and I want to look after her a little bit and take her away and spend a bit of time with her. I can't wait to have her to stay at my house again and take her away on a bit of a holiday. And like James, I haven't been able to take my missus out for a meal.
Yeah.
Or, all these things that we take for granted, and being conscious about those. So I just can't wait to be able to do that for my mum and spend a bit of time with her and go on holiday. I'd love to go on holiday. I'd love to.
I think later on today we're going to have some stuff to look forward to. That's what I think.
Let's hope so.
But I think thank you both for coming in and talking to us today.
Oh, thank you.
We definitely need to have another chat. I think we definitely need to have a part 2. Giles mentioned we might need to do a part 2, because I feel like I could talk to you both, about so many different things, and certainly we'll be able to talk about what we're going to be working on together as well. But just your positivity, I think, and resilience, and just the fact that you've just powered on through like you have, is really, I just think it's really courageous that you've just kept going, because I know it's been tough, and we can sit here and say, oh yeah, it's been tough, but it really has been tough, and you've really worked hard to keep things going. So, well done, both of you, and all your families.
I appreciate that. We both do. But it's interesting, because I don't see it from other people's. Obviously, I can't see it from anyone else's eyes. So we keep ourselves to ourselves.
Yeah.
And really, it was the only option for us, wasn't it? And it was like, we just got our heads down and wanted to create something. And it's funny I appreciate you saying it.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it.
I know you don't do it for that, but I'm always going to say, you know what I'm like, I'm always going to say, well done. I mean, it's just, because it's great. And
but we hear it a lot.
Well, we'd be really stuck without your coffee. I mean,
I'm always humbled by it.
Next time, can you bring me coffee, please?
Yeah, I can't believe
I can't believe it. I mean, you don't bring the host a coffee. What is wrong with you? Apart from that, they're great. Get down to Fine Grind and get your coffee right now. No, but honestly, it's been lovely to see you guys. Thank you so much. You know, you're both very close to my heart. So thank you so much for coming in. First of many chats, I think. Certainly with Matt and I think we'll be doing more of these chats. So it's been fabulous to see you both. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.